Hi, very good morning. Thank you for this warm welcome. And as you just said in this perfect intro, I want to inspire you today a bit about this great, as I think, concept of design thinking and how it can be applied into our daily life, especially, of course, in our business life. And first of all, it's about creating. It is about making things, designing things, and not just in design as you might think about it, industrial design, whatever, clothes design, but it's so much more. Design is so much more, and this is what I want to tell you today. I start a bit with my personal change, process. Just to illustrate it, I have some pictures for you. This was me about 4 years ago. I still work, but in another department for a large insurance company. Yeah, you see, this is the stereotype of someone working in an insurance company. I worked in controlling, so number crunching, Excel was my daily life, and it was fun. It was fun. It was interesting things. You worked with management, a lot of things that you expect when you go to university, or when you come from university and go into a company. But then I decided, hey, I had just a bachelor's degree, and then I opted for a master's degree in entrepreneurship and business development. And what happened during this time at university, during learning a lot of things about this entrepreneurial spirit, making your own things, building your own business, or building or being responsible for a larger part of the company. This is business development. This happened. You see the change in clothes. You see it's not just me, but it's a group. Teamwork becomes so much more important when you think about design thinking. And please, the next. Yes, you see, you go much more for the product that you develop. And you see here the commercial vehicle, our historical lorry, for the first time. This is something that we work on. And next thing, this is my picture in the presentation that we give for customers. It's me and my dog. So it's much more getting in contact, giving something you can talk about, and being user-centric. This is so much important when we talk about design thinking. This user focus, staying in contact with the people that you develop products for. The basic of design thinking, as I think about it, is, as I presented here, the basic of design thinking, as I presented here, is just about creating something, being creative, and having something to see, to touch. Really things that you can interact with, and not just you as the product developer, as the design thinker here, but also your customers. This is so much important. This is so important. This is the core of the principle of design thinking. Being in touch with your customer. To put it in one sentence, for me, everyone has another definition, but for me, design thinking is really the framework where you apply all the inspiring methods of designers, of industrial designers, to processes and to tasks to projects in your company, and also in your private life, that are usually not linked to this design approach. And what happens? Of course, you think user-centric, you are much faster. You come to the market, this time to market, as we call it, this time to market time is so much shorter. From the first idea to a market product that a customer can buy and can like and can love, it's so much shorter. Of course, digitalization, digital products are a perfect match to this shorter time to market. But it also applies to physical products, like, for example, cars. From the 7 years that we had in earlier days, I work in new mobility, so cars and trucks and these things are my daily business. We are much shorter in this time period. We get Chinese startups, for example, just founded 2 years ago, with up and ready to buy products, cars today on the motor shows. This is the way we go. And again, it's not one single person. applying design thinking, but it's always a team. It is a diverse team. You need people with different skills, with different backgrounds, from both genders, whatever. Yeah, from many countries, from different cultural influences. This is important. And I want to point that out with three core basic principles, you might say. And the first one is working environment. What happened to my personal, for example, working environment? I started here. This is what you find, and what you can see it at the number of the windows, what hundreds, thousands of colleagues find at this place every day. Very focused on your processes, on your computer, on what you do digitally. The new working environment that I discovered when I switched from my controlling job to my new job, which is in an innovation lab for new mobility, was this one. I guess you see the difference. It is so much more space. It is welcoming to the people that work there. It is welcoming to people not working there, but that come from other organizations. It is welcoming to your customers if you want to do workshops together with them. If you want to invite them, hey, give us your experience, give us your feedback, and we want to integrate it into our products. That's actually what happens here. You want to spend time here. And you see it's a mix of work and of course of free time too. So it really invites you to spend time there. And as you can see, if the computer is switched off, you can see nothing about your ideas, about your products, about your projects, whatever. And you see it on the right. There is a TV, yes, you can give a presentation, but the ideas are pinned on the wall. You can see them. You can add your own ideas as a customer, as a visitor from another company. You can see them, you can build on the ideas of others. This is so much important, this cooperation thing. Yeah? That is how we can build great new products. The working environment is the first thing, and of course, company culture goes together with this. As you can see here, we get a hierarchy of a company that you are used to know. This is how most people of us today work. And it's a pity that we work like this, because you are a tiny part of a huge corporation. But you don't want to be a tiny part of a huge corporation, but you want to be a core part of a great product, of a great project, of a great team. And that is what happens. Actually, profitability is here the core. This is what happens when you talk about creativity, when you talk about testing with customers, and then you go for more. You don't go only for profitability, which is still a part of it. We are in business. We want to make money. That's the first lesson. Actually, this was the first lesson that we were told in university in our business degree. We are in business to earn money. But with this entrepreneurial and intrapreneurial mindset, we are also in business to test the boundaries of feasibility when we talk about technology. We are also, and this is the core of design thinking, we are talking about customer excitement. We want to make customers happy. People should like, even love your product because it makes your daily life better. And this is so much more fun, even especially, of course, as a product developer, to see your customers happy, to get feedback. Hey, this is a great idea. I want to work with this. I want to use this. And how does this happen? Or what does this mean? This customer focus, it's about ratings, reviews of your product, for example. It's about likes, thumbs up for your product. Yeah, how much do people like it? What is the feedback? You see it, it's transparent, so it's important to have a great feedback. Yeah, but this is how you work today as a customer and as a product developer. So I just brought along a very short but I think strong example. It's about two pictures. These are two bakeries in my hometown. Saturday morning, same time, 50 meters between those two bakeries. And you see one with a queue of customers that love this product and this company. Otherwise, they wouldn't be queuing for the products. Yeah? And another bakery with no customer inside. same time, same place. And this is the core of all business activities, especially when you apply design thinking methods. Of course you want to be this one. Of course you want to understand your customer. You want to be the product developer that develops the product that people are queuing for. Yeah? And it is of course about the quality, the basic quality of your product, but it is about more. And you gotta be observing your customers, using your product, buying your product in all kinds of processes and interaction with the product, and then you gain insights on what people like and what they don't like. For example, this was one of the first bakery where you could pay by card. And I'm someone not liking these big wallets, but I want to, in the best case, I want to pay with my smartphone. And this is what is possible here and not possible here. And this is something a person from a bakery might have not thought about 5 or 10 or 20 years ago, but this is what design thinking brings into the world of business, thinking with seeing the world with your customers' eyes, putting yourself into the shoes of your customers, and then redesigning the experience that you give them and make them happier. And I brought you along 2 cases that we as a company are working on. It's not about advertising anything. These are not products that are yet ready, with this case here, or that have a small focus group, the next one. I just want to give you an idea of the process and how we develop those products, or how we are developing them as we have it here. For example, smartphone distraction is a huge problem for a motor insurer. It is a huge problem because it is so dangerous to use these smartphones while we are driving. But if I look at my customers when they are not in the car, this is a picture taken in the town of Bonn on the subway. And what happens? What do you see? You see all people waiting, spending their time on their commute, having their smartphone in their hand. So there is something that people like about their smartphones. And I can tell you what, it is about staying in contact with your loved ones, it's about playing, it's about listening to music, it's about getting the latest news, it's about all those things that we do with these tiny smartphones. And it's great, and we like it. And of course, we want to use some of these functionalities also while driving. But guess what is usually the answer of an insurer when it comes to smartphone usage? It's a bit about talking vocabulary, because usually these are campaigns here in Germany, and they are great because they are good for road safety. And we want to have road safety. But usually, what would happen to a motor insurer? A motor insurer would say, we prohibit smartphone usage. It's against the law. We track you. We want to punish you if you use your smartphone. We won't pay any claims if you use your smartphone and you have an accident. So this is very negative vocabulary. And this is totally against what people think or what people like, as you can see in the picture in the middle. And you can just turn it around and have the same effect of road safety if you go for a different vocabulary. And I want to stress the vocabulary enabling. And enabling, what does this mean? A motor insurer could also say, next page please, could also say, hey, people, for example, with older cars, we provide you with technology to use smart voice assistants. We provide you with technology to use those things like, I don't name the brands, but you all know them because there are 2 large ones with the operating systems of the smartphones. And all this brings the technology to make roads safer, and in combination, let people stay in contact with their loved ones, stay in contact with while texting or while phoning, just by their voice, not with the distraction of typing and swiping, and listening to music and using the navigation. So in the end, it's so much about here technology, making your customers happy and enabling them to stay in contact, and not giving them a bad feeling when you say, hey, don't do this, and we track you. Yeah? It's just a difference in vocabulary, different approach when you think about design thinking. Design thinker would always go for the enabling approach. Second case that I brought you along. It's a tiny focus group, I have to admit, but it's a very strong case, I guess. It's about truck parking. Insurance company, truck parking, why should you deal with something like that? This is the situation here in Germany, actually. We have a huge lack of truck parkings, lack when it comes to infrastructure, public infrastructure. But economy is going so well, and things are transported from A to B, from Z to Y, throughout the country, throughout Europe. And this is great. This is how we, of course, as a logistics insurer, earn our money, as things are transported. And this is good for all of us. Yeah, we want to order online, and these things have to be transported from A to B. But what happens to these, we really got to say, poor lorry drivers? We get this situation. They don't find adequate parkings, and you have to, as a design thinker, observe them. They spend half of their day making rest in their trucks. They sleep there. They need infrastructure like sanitary rooms. This is what makes the day, or what makes the day terrible. This truck parking case. And we thought about, hey, let's go. If you go around German motorways, you see this all the time, because we are a large insurer. And these are our customers. And this is a network, as you can see. And all these companies have trucks running around the motorways, going around the motorways. They are parking outside of their premises at home. So there's free space. So think about sharing economies. Think about technology enabling them to use the parkings of others. Yeah? This would really solve the problem and make them happy. Give them sanitary rooms, give them kitchens to prepare their food, give them a safe space. Yeah? And in the end, then thinking about the insurance thing, these trucks, if they carry, for example, smartphones or perfumes or things like that, they have millions of euros of worth with them. And of course you want to have them parked at a safe spot. This is when the sweet spot appears, where the customer is happy and we as the company are happy too. This is profitability and excitement of the customer. And what happens? This is how design thinking works. You create a digital product, but this is the first step. You give the customer the direct interaction possibility. You invite them, you draw, you make first mock-ups, you give feedback, you build on the ideas of others. That is actually what happens, and this is what people love. And very, very important, in the last step, you present it for real customers. These are trucker events. We are monthly at these trucker events and we present our ideas, we try to get feedback, and it's about getting out of the building. This is so important. And what happens? The application is there, so it's no advertising, as most of you might not be truck drivers. And what do you see? You need more. You need things around it. You need technology, for example, to open up gates and doors. And that's what actually we created. It's not something that we bought, but it's something we created because we felt, hey, there's no good solution in the market, but we need it for this great product, so we created it by ourselves. It's getting into contact with the people and talking to them, presenting your solution, getting the feedback, and, of course, quite proud, you also get awards for it, for example, like here, state support, as it is relieving the situation, for example, for the public infrastructure. Or we won a Digital Lighthouse Award of the insurance industry here in Germany. For example, Google is one of the sponsors. Of course, this makes you proud, and I want to inspire you. This all is possible for all of us, for all of you. I'm convinced if you use this design thinking approach, and once again, as I started, when you start creating things, and when you use this great framework of design thinking for creating things. Thank you so much for listening.